welcome to the SML podcast. This is Prime here, and today I'm going to give an interview on the Ravens owner. We're going to kind of treat it like I'm interviewing the Ravens owner instead of actually just asking, him questions, just random questions about himself. So a little bit more different, more, like I said, just asking him as if he was a Rams owner. So let's just see how this goes. Might be a one-time thing if it's kind of lame. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give him a call right now, and hopefully he picks up, and hopefully this goes well. So, like I said here, it's going to pop a few quick questions here about his team. Right now the Ravens are 3-0.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? This is Prime from the SML podcast. How are you doing today?
Great, and you?
I am pretty good here. I'm looking at your roster, right, or your team right now, and you're 3-0. Your team, you only had a few wins last year. What's been the turnaround thus far this season? Obviously 3-0 is a great start compared to what you only had 2 or 3 wins last year. After taking over, I think you took over late in the season as a new owner. So what's been the biggest change?
I sat down with our coaches, as soon as I came in, made sure that we were on the same page morale-wise. So we had an all-together team meeting, and then the players got together and decided that they also wanted to make a change. And when the draft came, we decided to make that change, early getting our quarterback. Joe has really embraced the backup role, and I think it's really put a good mood on the team overall, and I think they've definitely showed that play-wise.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It looks like whatever you've done has worked. Joe Flacco, he's 33 years old now, obviously in the back nine of his career, still has a major contract, 4 years left. What is the future of Joe Flacco as a quarterback on the Baltimore Ravens?
He told us that he's very interested in, helping our starting quarterback at the moment, Mick, through his rookie year, showing him the ropes of being a great pro. And as of right now, we haven't spoke to him about future plans, but, we are very open to whatever he would like for his future. We like Joe, so whatever he portrays to us, we'll try and make happen. But right now, we're not quite sure.
All right, I respect that. You did mention Mick. He was the first, I think he was the 8th overall pick in the draft. You also drafted Kevin Yelk, a receiver out of Louisville. He's a rookie. He's a speedster. So it looks like you're building a team, a very good offense. You got a lot of speedster receivers. What team do you see as your biggest threat in stopping these young guys from maybe capturing an early Super Bowl ring?
I haven't really looked at the schedule too far in. With this new morale, we always do take it one game at a time. But right now we're looking interdivisional. We're looking at the Steelers. We need to, that game's coming up right next week, so we're gonna get an early look at their DBs, an early look at their defense. They're really popular for, really known for their blitzing schemes. We gotta look and see if what we can do to, counteract that.
Oh, I agree. One game at a time is huge. It's tough to do. I see your schedule right now. I got it pulled up. Steelers are the current division champion. Right now they're 1-2. You're leading the division, which, hey, all you got to do is take it one game at a time, get a win. Then after that, you've got the Super Bowl runner-up, Carolina Panthers in Carolina. So definitely have a tough schedule coming up. What is the goal for this season? I know you said you're taking them one game at a time, but is the goal the Super Bowl, or is it to make the playoffs and then next year maybe get over that hump?
Well, I did say one game at a time, but I'll let you know we have definitely circled that game, the primetime game right after this upcoming week against the Panthers. We definitely want to come out and show out. We haven't looked into their roster, but, as soon as we're done with operations, pretty sure I haven't looked to see if that was a Monday or a Sunday night, but we probably have a short week coming up on us, so we're going to be ready to prepare for that. But as for the end goal, we're definitely looking, with a 3-0 start, we're definitely looking for playoffs. As of right now, we don't know how far deep, but, once you make playoffs, the goal is always going all the way.
Right, and once you get in the playoffs, it's anybody's game. You could be 8-8, 9-7, but once you get into the dance, everyone's 0-0 in my opinion. And back to that Carolina Panthers game, like you said, it's going to be the game of the week. I think you're since taking ownership of the Ravens, you guys could be one of the hottest teams in the SML now. And is that game is that kind of a must win to put your team on the map to get the fans excited?
I know, attendance has definitely been boosted since the start of the season. At the end of the tail end of last season, we definitely taken a dip in ticket sales, stuff like that. But once they've seen that this team is definitely getting a turnaround, definitely has a different attitude, they've definitely boosted this year. But we feel as if we're already on the map, but winning that game definitely puts us in the talks.
I agree 100%. You've got to beat the big dogs, and once you do that, I think your team's gonna get the respect that you deserve. Looking at your roster, like I said already, you got some young guys at the receivers and quarterback position, obviously. What's the strongest point of your team that somebody might not know about besides your speedster receivers?
Our very young and deep defensive back position. Over the last, beside of our two starting corners, we have two very great young corners that we're very keen on and developing over the next, season or so. We're hoping, they can definitely be the future backfield, on defense, and definitely hoping they can just take over the starting roles once, some of our other players, move on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at the roster. Jimmy Smith is 30 years old, and you've got, looks like Tavon Young, a young cornerback, and Marlon Humphrey, both two very young cornerbacks who could be difference makers once looks like Jimmy Smith maybe rounds out his career as well.
Yeah, they've already made great strides on defense. I'm pretty sure both of them have 1 or 2 turnovers on the season already. They're already making a big difference for us.
I agree 100%. And as they make those turnovers, they're only going to develop that much more. Taking a look at the, just around the league, who are some of the teams, obviously we've mentioned the Panthers, we've mentioned the Steelers. Who are some of the teams that you think you could take a page out of their playbook and become a perennial contender?
We could definitely look at the Colts. The Colts definitely have a long line of success, years back with Peyton, now with Andrew. We definitely want to try and build toward having that, face to the franchise. We think we have it with Mick. We definitely think we could, one season at a time, of course, but we think we could definitely get into that position of being one of the big dogs.
No, I agree 100%. It's all about that quarterback position. It looks like you guys might have it. I'm just going to leave you with an open-ended question here. Do you have any final words to say before we get off the phone, or just any statements, or I guess the floor is yours, I should say.
The team's very excited about where we are right now. I talk to some of the main players, every day. I like to have them sit down, give me any feedback that you may have. They're really, on the defensive side, we've lost a very key part for a few weeks. C.J. Mosley went down for, looks like about at least a minimum of 5 weeks. But thankfully, unforeseen, we actually traded for Derek Johnson just the week prior. So we actually have somebody to fit right into that slot until, we have him come back. But as of right now, everybody's looking to get back into, none of the players were here for this, but a lot of them are, saying they want to be back into form for that 2000 defense for the Ravens,
Right.
So we're definitely trying to get back into that form. I know that the fans would love to see that kind of action. So that's what we're looking for.
No, I see what you're saying, trying to recapture some of that old magic of the old Ravens style, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed style, and now you guys might have a quarterback, whereas back in the day, the old Ravens did not. They didn't have a guy who could, if they did have a quarterback like maybe Mick Wynn might end up being, they could have multiple let's say 2 or 3 rings. So I think it looks like
famously known for being the original game manager, but he definitely helped them out. He definitely did exactly what he needed to do, and we feel Mick could be called a game manager, but even throwing 3 touchdowns this last game, very little yards, but 3 touchdowns still puts you, I think, over a game manager. He's making a huge impact on the game, so that's what we're looking for.
I think so. I think right now Mick's young, but he's got the ability, huge arm. He's got the speed to be more than a game manager. We look at guys like Alex Smith, guys like that who maybe aren't blessed physically and they just kind of fit into that role. I think everybody in your organization and the league around has been saying Mick has the ability to become something great. But I guess, I don't really have any more questions for you, boss, so I'm going to, not leave you hanging here. So I appreciate you coming in and joining us on the podcast, and good luck the rest of your season.
Of course, it's great talking to you, Brian.
Bye-bye. And that was our Baltimore Ravens owner. Obviously, excited about his season. They're 3-0. They've got a great young team. He's gotten involved. He's drafted well. 86 overall football team. And, I think they could possibly go a long way. I think they could be a possible Super Bowl contender. So we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully you guys like the little, him interviewing him as a Ravens the actual owner, instead of interviewing him as the personality of just his username or what have you. It's just kind of his idea he threw up off the wall there, and we just ran with it. So who knows? We might roll with that again. I think it went pretty well. So guys, thanks for listening, and you guys take it easy.